Welcome back to the Intel X3 Masters Singapore. We are currently in the quarterfinal of our pro tournament here, and too bad for the Singapore Sentinels in that game one. They lost that game one to the Taipei Snipers, and I feel like with a little bit of changes, we might be able to get a game 3 here, maybe a Rengar ban, and I know that the homecraft favorite wants to see the Singapore Sentinels take it to game 3. I don't know exactly what they have to do to bring it back, but maybe we could ask our casters, Joe and Jason.
Well, Shocks, that's the question here for the Singapore Sentinels. I mean, losing game number 1 convincingly as well, I'd say. It took the Snipers a while to really get in there, get that job done. But in the end, they did it. It was a slower game, a slower-paced game, a very tactical game rather than just fight, fight, fight that we see sometimes. Now, 40 minutes it took them last time around. We're going to be seeing surely different bans this time. I mean, that Rengar was too much to handle. I'm looking at it, I'm like, we have to see a little bit of different bans come in, just like you're saying, but a lot of them have to stay the same at the same time. Unless you want to like kind of first pick Annie, where Mistake and Kaylin both play that champion and play it very well. And we've seen just in that game alone how really impactful support can be with Mistake running around with that Oracle, constantly roaming around too. I'm not sure what they want to take away, though. I mean, these two teams have already played now 3 times, twice with the GPL, 1 here. They know each other inside out, but I think a little bit to me, it's about SGS maybe run a different composition. They had a hard time making the fights happen when they wanted to, and when they did get the team fight on their own circumstances, they would win them. But kind of putting all your eggs in one basket with that Malphite ultimate kind of didn't work for them. No, and I think we'll see something different this time around, that's for sure. Whether the bans from the Snipers actually change, not too sure, to be honest. Yeah, the Malphite was strong and would have been stronger if we could get on the right target every time. But when the likes of, you know, the Banshee's Veil come out there, it makes everything just that little bit harder. We've just seen there on the screens that we are about to get into the bans and the picks, though, so we'll figure out exactly how things go down. And up until now, things are pretty much the same. Kale and Vayne banned out for the Taipei Snipers. Morgana, the first ban for SGS.
So that Morgana must have given SGS a really tough time. And their, was it week number 2 when they played him for the first time? He actually did finish with 3 kills in that one, but...
Bit of a sneeze?
A little sneeze. But it seems like they really don't want to go up against that. And, you know, the Kale ban, you look at that at home, you're like, why are they going for a Kale ban? But Cryonix, he plays a lot of really weird middles. I mean, they're not weird because they were middles at a certain time, but not really in the current meta. We don't see them too often, so they don't want to go up against that.
Well, Fiddlesticks was taken away here as well. Will it be the Annie ban? Will they ban out Rengar? Will they first pick Rengar? That's what we're going to find out. Jax was actually the final ban here from the Singapore Sentinels. Another champion which can do similar to what Rengar did in the last game, but it will be first pick Annie.
What's happening, though, is there's 3 really strong champions available. Annie, Shen, and Renekton. And by not banning out one of those 3, it guarantees that they can get 2 of them if they want them. And we are going to see, it looks like Renekton picked up here, which I wouldn't be surprised to see TPS pick up a Shen to kind of go back at that. But really interesting bans. The Jax, I mean, it's a little just odd to me. I mean, obviously I know what they're going for, so it makes sense. But I don't know. They could have banned out maybe someone else they didn't want to go up against.
Are we going to see Hallelujah picking up Elise here? Said it before that he's played a lot of Jarvan coming through the GPL so far. Actually not played a... sorry, he has played an Elise game. That was against the Bangkok side in week... Oh, he played a number 4, so... or played a number 5. I'm just all over the place with numbers. That's good. But that will be Elise here for the Singapore Sentinels. So, what are the Taipei Snipers going to go for next? Who had... fantastic game on Gragas in game number 1. They're looking like they're not seeing really a reason to change that up.
Yeah, it worked extremely well. He had the damage he needed. He farmed really well in lane against the Malphite. He did die once in a 1v1, but that was the only time, really. Like, I was going to let that happen yet again. But yeah, it's not a bad pickup, and it's one of those most banned champions in GPL right now, so they're definitely going to get that when it is free. The Jinx, though, actually in GPL, 100% win rate, 4 for 4. And now with today, 5 for 5 pretty much. So it looks like they want to give that yet another go. And GoJJ, he did an amazing job on her, so why not play her again?
Yeah, and it wouldn't surprise. I mean, why change something that's not broken at this point? Obviously, you have to adapt to what your enemies are going to throw at you. It doesn't matter if you stomp game number 1. If it's a different team you're going up against, those picks still have to somewhat be adjusted in there. But for now, we have Renekton Elise in for the Singapore Sentinels. I'm assuming Well, they may be able to just pick up that mid laner now with the fact that Gragas is already in there. You know, the likes of, if we look down the champion pools, Gragas is one that they play a lot. Syndra played a couple of times, unfortunately banned out this tournament, so that's not really an option. The Kayle also banned out against them, and that almost covers everything that's been played in there. Zillion ones.
Yeah, that's one thing he has played. I'm not sure if it'll work too well with this comp, but I haven't seen exactly what their AD carry is going to be just yet. But yeah, I mean, I really like that Chronix uses a lot of different mid laners, but he hasn't had much success with the last one, with that Malphite.
Well, it seems like Varus may just be the AD carry, and Thresh as well. So they are going to leave that mid laner until the end of things. Could be a mid lane Elise. We've seen crazier things happen. We've seen Elise obviously in lanes, but mostly in the jungle these days. It's pretty rare that we're actually seeing her more moving out to those lanes. But Thresh and Varus, the duo lane for the Singapore Sentinels, locked in. The Snipers now, what are they going to go for? They need a mid laner, a top laner and a jungler.
Nidalee. Definitely a smart pickup for them. Constantly banned out here if they do want to go for it over in the GPO. Actually, constantly played too. 13 out of 16 wins with her. Not bad right there, but Shen's still available. I don't know. Zonda, he likes to play those tanky champions. I mean, Rengar isn't necessarily one of them, but he builds it definitely tanky enough for it. And it looks like he was happy with it before, so he kind of maybe wants to commit to it yet again. And they have a very strong team already brewing. They have a lot of damage. They have a lot of control. But that's just... I wonder if they're going to go middle against this, if they do lock in this Lee Sin and Rengar.
Yeah, I mean, with a Nidalee there that could go top, that would kind of give you two options there where your solo lanes are going to go. But again, as I said a little bit earlier on, if it's not broken, then why fix it? We're going to see Zonda on the Rengar once again. Lee Sin this time around in the jungle for wins. And now the mid laner's choice for SGS.
There's a lot of different things he can go with. Obviously, we've kind of named out everything he's played in GPL so far that isn't banned or picked currently. And it's all in his hands. I mean, right now, with this composition they have, Elise can do quite a bit of damage. Renekton does quite a bit of damage, and so does Var. So you can afford to go for someone a little bit tanky. But if you go for someone that has a lot of damage, maybe some form of CC, you have a very strong composition made for picking people off. And Nidalee wouldn't be bad, too. I mean, if you just think about it, because if you hit a cocoon and a spear behind it, there goes half of someone's health at least.
Double AD comp shouldn't be ruled out at this stage either, I suppose. Put down as much pressure as they can onto that Gragas early on. Wow. Well, I didn't expect it, to be honest. Cryonics, as we said, did get to that point where he was able to do a lot of damage and to even one-shot mostly the support, actually, that we saw from that one. So the DFG was in there, but gonna go with that one again. So sticking in with the Malphite in that mid lane up against Nexus Gragas, who was, as we said, really, really good in game one.
Yeah, they have a little bit more of a harder engage. Well, it's kind of equal. I mean, you have a Jarvan who can obviously Cataclysm in, but you have a Thresh who can hook in there and lock them all together, ideally. Maybe an Elise to jump in there if you want, or even send in Renekton. But Malphite can really work in this combo, but TPS kept something that would make them really strong, or made him really strong in that last game, that Gragas. You can knock everyone else away if you do see Chronix go in, and if he does, with how squishy he kind of builds, he's going to die very fast. Not to mention you have an Annie for CC, and you have potential for that Rengar to split push yet again here. And I don't know, it's going to be really interesting to see how both these teams play this one out.
We should also touch on the attack speed slow from Malphite, which is something that we didn't really talk about. Rengar, you know, he got to a point in that last game where he was kind of unstoppable, I think, without the attack speed or not. That's the unfortunate point of things. But either way, you see there the Singapore Sentinels on your screen looking very, very concentrated. They have to be here. They need to win 2 games in a row now against the Taipei Snipers if they're to come back and keep their hopes alive in this tournament. The winner of this game will go through into the next round to play the Chinese side, IG. On the bottom side, we've already got our first semi-final match. That'll be CJ enters Frost taking on the Saigon Jokers.
Yeah, so that's actually going to be a very, very good game tomorrow, as CJ enters Frost actually got number 2 last season. They lost to their sister team Blaze, so a little bit unfortunate for them, but looking to redeem themselves this time. And we are in a game here. We do have quite a few wards, actually, from both these teams over on the supports. But Kaling, I really wonder where he's going to put some stuff down. And with that Ghost Ward, he might try to go for something a little bit aggressive. Spot maybe where Wins is going to go. Maybe get some sort of information so they can get the lanes that they actually want.
See that Zonda already trying to get in there and work that bowler strike up. Get his points in that one to get a route down later. We'll see about that one, how it goes. And Ben's basically offering that up to him at this point. Obviously has a decent cooldown on things. Singapore Sentinels all grouping up here on the bottom side of the map, and pretty much a mirror image over the other side. There's a ward being put down there, so that's good from the Singapore Sentinels side of things. They know that this ward is now down because they got their ward in there earlier.
Are they trying
on
to
the other side, the ward was coming around as well.
Are they actually going to wait for SGS to walk out of their own side of the jungle? They have a ward down. They know it's going to happen. They have that stun. This could very well happen right now, as they are going to be able to spot that ward.
Oh, that
this
was
could
smart,
be
though.
so good for SGS, but right now they would be spotted walking in unless they want to go around towards that tri-bush, which we see Zonda already heading for.
They want to fight here. With that pink ward going down, there's the spider check from Hallelujah. They don't know that they're in this brush. They're going to face check it. Zonda's going to face check straight in there. Jumps onto one of them, but Barrel comes across there. The stun from Annie coming out, but is it going to be enough here from this? We see them all going very, very low. Ben in particular there, running down at the front. They're not able to chase him, but there's a kill from Lee Sin. Barrel comes flying through. Cryonic super low, but I think they've got out of this one unharmed.
Wow, they just straight pushed them out. They straight bullet them out of their own jungle, so they're going to be able to maintain it here. And that was with, I guess, Zonda getting caught. Sorry, it's not Zonda. Ben W actually, no, it was Zonda. Sorry, getting caught a little bit right there as he just kind of face checked the bush. But right now they're trying to steal away this blue buff.
Well, blue down to half HP. Hallelujah looking for it, but that will be smited away by Wind. So the initial blue buff take here for TPS comes in. Are we going to see a quick switch over from Elise after doing her red buff? Winds is going to his red here. Are they going to be able to hold on to their own blue? Very, very interesting start. I was surprised not to see a kill really erupting from that one, because it was a straight-up 5v5 fight in the tri-bush.
And Wins, he invested into that Doran's Blade right away, too, so it looks like he wanted to go for a fight here, as he's going to have to back away from red a little bit.
Yeah, it's too low.
And they do know where Hallelujah is, so it's not going to hurt too much. And actually, in that little bit of a fight we did see, well, not a little bit of a fight, that 5-on-5 we did see, Kaylin actually exhausted Mistake after he already put the stun down, so I'm not sure if that was intentional, but I would imagine it wouldn't have been.
It's kind of hard to click on the right target.
When they're all standing together, yeah. I definitely agree with that one, but either way, we do have Hallelujah actually not going for the blue buff. He was spotted going towards double golems, I believe. Yeah. And that means we should see 3 buffs going over to TPS early on.
Yeah, we see actually Wind is going up towards his blue buff. Chompers there coming out, and that could have been the end of Kaylin if he had got caught up in those. In the end, though, not to beat, but the Snipers have a strong control down on this bottom lane, especially with the fact that Mistake stun ready is always going to be a threat to you.
Yeah, and we did see, I mean, Kaylin without that exhaust, he's going to need it for GodJJ to really help out these fights, but it's an Annie. I mean, you really have to be worried about the choppers is going to hit here. Are they going to go in?
Yeah, the stun coming down as well. The zap goes through, and that will be first blood for GodJJ. Speed up after picking that one up, and he will get out of the tower hits as well. Chowie left very, very low. And that's going to be a lot of damage onto the turret while they work it.
Wow, that chompers into an Annie stun, into a cleanse out of GodJJ right there to pretty much get that zap off right away. Fantastic job, able to get that first blood, able to give themselves a huge advantage in lane, and now you're seeing Chowie just zoned out completely because of mistakes sitting in that bush.
Yeah, and Chowie did start his recall there, cancelled it in the end, so actually he's going to go for it again. So I thought it might be sticking around from this, but honestly he's kind of frozen out that lane anyway, so not sure exactly what he's going to be able to do. He's going to come back into the lane with a long sword, but that blue buff means that there's 1,000 gold. Blue buff? First blood for GodJJ. It means that he's already over 1,000 gold.
There's a B in there. It's pretty close, but you can see a couple of pings went down for TPS over towards that top side into that second bush, because they're assuming that Hallelujah is there, and he's not too far away. He will be spotted by that ward going from tri-bush here, and that allows TPS to be aggressive everywhere else on the map. And not to mention, Beljung is being very quiet, but Wins did have 3 buffs to himself. He is level 14, or not level 14, that'd be a little bit crazy. He's level 3 right now with 14 CS, but he did go for that Doran's Blade start.
And the pressure continues here down on that bottom lane. Chompers in position as well, and that's what makes it so hard. Double stuns coming up from there. And especially now that GodJJ is headed very solidly up towards level 6, you've got to be very, very wary of that one. That's a lot of damage that can come out of him quickly.
Yeah, if TPS can stay in this lane without getting pushed out, they will have that level 6 earlier on, and that is bad news for SGS. But we do see right now Wins, he wants to go for a gank middle here. But you can see on that mini-map, Hallelujah, he's in the vicinity to kind of turn this one around if he needs to.
I'm actually going up to check the Wraiths there. As Hallelujah headed up over on towards the Wolf side. So doesn't look like there's anything going to be kicking off in that mid lane. Bottom lane as well has stayed pretty stagnant. God JJ's out of mana, so by the looks of things, he's going to go home, and he's almost got that 1600 to say, okay, BF sword right out of the bag.
I wouldn't be surprised if he actually picks it up here. Maybe a couple health pots to return back to lane 2. Doesn't really need the boots. The extra damage would make him skyrocket. Maybe go for a Vamp if he wants to play it safe. No! He's actually going for a Zeal. He wants a static shiv right away. He wants that attack speed. Huh.
Interesting start there. Didn't expect that one to come in, to be honest. It's Hallelujah here coming in towards mid. We did see the Unstoppable Force come down. There's a Cocoon available here. Can he land it? He's not going to need to. Just finishing off there. Hallelujah brings a kill back from SGS. That was far too easy in the mid lane.
Yeah, it's exactly what we saw in the game prior. Chronix was able to do that himself. Obviously had a little bit of help this time. But next, after being killed that one time, he never got 1v1 again. He's just going to go back, buy up a little bit of magic resist, return back to lane here, and he's still ahead in CS either way, so he's not hurting that much from that death, but it definitely doesn't make his job easier.
Varus coming back into lane now with that Vamp Scepter in on top of his Doran's Blade from earlier on. The top laners, we see already the chain vest, those Giants belts coming out from both sides of things. And again, we are going to say that they shouldn't be killing each other 1 versus 1 without any outside interference from the jungle, but this game's kind of proven me wrong on that front a couple of times already.
Well, right now I want to point out something really quick. We have a lot of wards picked up for TPS. We actually have 2 on a Zonda, which makes me believe he wants to ward up red here, and they want to take away as many buffs yet again from Hallelujah. Maybe take away the blue as it is respawning here. And you do see Wins. He's here. He wants to go for it. But right now we see Annie actually flash over the wall. Missed the stun.
Missed the stun there. The chompers were missed as well. And that was great reactions actually from Hallelujah. But have they done enough here to stop this blue buff being taken away? It's going to go very low. And there's a smite from Wins. Safeguards out on towards Mistake. And another great steal. Full control over the 3 buffs at this point.
Can they control the red on top of that even more? I mean, Hallelujah is level 5, so he's keeping up in terms of that, but he needs buff control, he needs jungle control, and he just hasn't been able to maintain any of this. Wins is still sitting in the vicinity to kind of gank him if he wants to, but if you look at him going through the jungle, he is spotted everywhere. He can't catch a break this game.
Let's not forget that Lee Sin had to go back before he continued on his jungle path after that blue steal. Yeah. So it's actually their blue that's coming up first, which should go over on towards next. Cryonics actually coming in from this, and that's a lot of damage coming down. Ultimate not being used by Nex, though, to actually pull them out. But this could be interesting. Rengar coming in from the top side has actually ulted in for this one. Hallelujah down to half HP. Can they follow through on this one? He knows he can't get the Q past the Spider Link, but just that pressure here is going to open up the blue buff. But Ben is coming in with Renekton from the top side. He'll be forced to slice and dice away. They've got to give the red buff up.
Yeah, the damage is done. I mean, the level of disparity already is coming in right now, as you do see Hallelujah trying to fight for it as the rest of the team, but the red's taken. It's already done. Yeah. And now SGS is in a really bad position where the jungler he can't get in the game. He needs to kind of gain control of it again, but he can't keep investing all of his money into these wards to get the vision.
And look at the wards down already. 3 on that bottom side, 4 on the top side of the map. Just shows you that everyone really pulling their weight when it comes to buying up those wards. And Zonda with that Giant's belt, he's actually doing a lot of damage onto Renekton already. Dominus going to be popped here, but Zonda just backing away. But here comes Hallelujah. Is he going to be able to cocoon him up from it? He's going to have to switch out to that in a sec, but Windsor's coming from the side. They're going to go in towards Ben, who's now down to less than half HP. Jump coming in, flash away though. And that will force them right out of lane, but it now means that Renekton's not safe in there. Gragas has actually headed up as well. He's going to be going over a ward, but that might gift them a turret.
Oh, but we do have Kronos coming in from the backside here, and he's actually going to be able to not be seen. Well, he's seen now, obviously, right there, but Wynn's doing a great job of just countering Hallelujah wherever he was going to be going, and he's still just having a very tough time. He still has that level advantage. They get a lot of free damage onto his turret, and they were able to turn that fight completely around.
Yeah, the mid lane is now backing off from things. Blue buff with Gragas at this point, so that buff control, as we said before, really in favor of TPS. And look at this, Cryonics coming up to the top side. He's not going to get anything from that.
You're actually seeing Kaling respond by trying to push middle by himself on that Thresh.
Takes a while.
Yeah, just a little bit right there, but still, they pulled multiple people away from middle and pulled the jungler into that top side as well. So TPS, they know they have control. They know they have control of the game and forcing SGS to respawn and wherever they want to make plays happen. I wouldn't be surprised to see Dragon actually be done soon because Wind will have his red buff here in a second.
Now, as minions being pushed out from the bottom side, Jinx 89 to the 62 of Chowie on Varus. That's a massive, massive lead, and we saw that Chowie having to back away and do his own wolves there. That's how far he's really fallen behind in this game after giving up that first blood.
Yeah, this is the exact same thing that happened in game 1 too, with GodJJ freezing the lane as much as possible. It forced Chowie to go back to his jungle and take that, and I was trying to say before, there's a limited amount of gold on the map at any given time, and by taking it out of other places, you're denying it away from your teammates, and slowly over time, it was enough to keep Chowie out of the game, enough to not make him a threat in these fights, but with Winds coming down, they want to go for a gank.
Oh, there's Tibbers. The Chompers have landed as well, and Chowie is not escaping this one. Winds actually picking it up there right at the end, and that was so well executed. I thought that Mystic might have been a little bit early to go in for that one with Tibbers, but showing me wrong, proving me wrong on that front. They're able to get in, and again, Kaelin's going to get a load of farm because he's the only one in the lane. Oh, now not, because Hallelujah comes down as well, but they're looking so good once again. They back off, got full control without an AD carry on the bottom side. Dragon is theirs. You see 2,600 gold lead already for the Taipei Snipers.
And it looked like Mistake actually controlled Tibbers to put him on the Lantern and leave him there. So he could, or so Chowie couldn't take the Lantern and stay alive. And that was actually a very smart play out of him, and I wouldn't surprise you if he actually did go for that intentionally, because it caused the death of Chowie, and they get the Dragon off of it too. Zalna gonna get that turret down momentarily, and right now TPS, they have full control of this game, and it all started from level 1. It started from them manning up and fighting.
You see how many cares are given here by Zonda underneath the turret. Ben's like, I'm attacking you, and Zonda's like, well, not really doing anything to stop me, are you? I can see him there just farming up, and he can't do anything at this point. Giant's Belt and the Chain Vest. Zonda got the advantage on all fronts with that one, but look at this down in the bottom lane. The box coming in, wins. He's surely going to die. Yes, Chowie picks that one up, but they're going to lose the support. Mistake here taking a lot of damage as a Cocoon land, but honestly, I think Chowie might be in trouble. The Sap not quite got the range, but GodJJ going to be chasing through. But here comes Cryonics from the other side, and Cryonics will pick that one up. There's the barrel. It knocks Hallelujah away, and that's 3 kills for 1 in this bottom lane. A great turnaround from SGS.
Exactly what they needed to, because they're getting the kills over where they needed to be. Chowie now 2-1. They got a kill on the Cryonics, so he's 1-0-1. And we saw how strong Malphite can be when he builds AP and he gets going. He just kind of got a kill that he needed for the income, but still, even with those 3 kills, they're very far behind in gold, 2.2 thousand. And next, gonna take a free turret off of that. So in the end, not too bad for TPS, but a great sign of life for SGS.
Well, as we said, if you're just joining us, because I know a few people in Europe maybe just waking up. I don't even know what time it is, so I can't even say for sure on that one. But we are in game number 2 of this best of 3, with the Taipei Snipers having a 1-0 lead. And we can see already that the Snipers getting in position for another take on that red buff. The blue did go over to Cryonics that last time around, so they've managed to secure their blue buff. Funnily enough, after 15 minutes for the first time in the game, Zonda now on towards Hallelujah. He's going to get stunned up with a repel. He's going to take him over the other side of the wall there. Is he going to be able to escape from this one? The Lee Sin Q lands. Actually, Super Mega Death Rocket was what killed him there, with GodJJ sending it in from the front side. Meanwhile, Ben has popped his dominance. There's a lot of damage, but not enough to get another kill. But a 1-0 will certainly be a happy time for him as Jinx goes 2-1-1.
And Mistake just so smart right there too, just to go over with his team to have that stun so they can pick up that kill. They deny another buff away from Hallelujah, just like you said, and he's sitting at 47 CS, so he's keeping up in terms of that, but his pressure around the map is pretty much gone, where Wins is just, he's everywhere at this point. He's playing Lee Sin perfectly, and right now probably Diamond's watching, very happy to see how well he's being played, and with that side zone coming in, with some more wards being picked up, and that Oracle for Mistake, they're gonna have complete vision control of the jungle of Singapore Sentinels.
Yeah, and Zonda again has a 30 CS lead, comparable I think to his lead in game number 1, playing up against the Shen. And if we look at their overall gold totals, it's 1,000 gold that separates the two of them. That's the Giant's Belt there that is ahead.
And at this point in the game, you kind of can't afford to be that far behind, because right now TPS, they can group up, they can force some team fights here. And Cryonics, he was even forced to go a little bit of a different build here, going for the Abyssal Scepter instead of that Athene's and Holy Grail as his first item. But right now, look at Mistake over on the top side of the jungle, or bottom side of the jungle. He's actually going deep for some wards here. He's just roaming around non-stop with that Oracles and giving TPS complete control. They completely control 3/4 of this game right now in terms of area.
Yeah, and with those 3 assists and a kill as well, look at the difference. 1,000 gold between those two as well. He's actually got himself the boost. Is Ben going to face check into this one? Have they got the damage really to lock him down? Chompers come down, but they didn't quite connect in time. Ben goes down to about a 3rd HP. They might be able to have the inner turret here.
And right now, Zonda's still just pushing top. It's basically 4 on 5, and they're still able to push them away. They're able to push away the tankiest member on Singapore Sentinels over onto Ben. And that is not a good sign with how TPS is doing for them.
Look at the wards as well here on this top side.
You pointed out perfectly.
On the bottom side, but also on the top side. I mean, they've got complete vision control of the enemy jungle. Zonda is now up onto that inner turret. Not got masses of damage at this point, but he adds up really, really quickly with that Q.
Yeah, and you're seeing it right now. And Ben, I mean, we saw him attacking him earlier under turret, under that first one over towards that top side. And Zonda was taking absolutely no damage from that. He's just going to stay there. He's just going to keep taking away jungle. With all those wards, he's super safe. And just wards everywhere on the side of TPS. They're controlling this game that SGS, even an Oracle right now, I'm not sure if that would be enough for them to start getting back in this.
Oh, Zonda's got level on Ben here. Looks like he might want to have a bit of a go at him, as Ben is literally just going to face check into that brush. And Zonda here, he's got enough to root him down. Actually, will use it to heal things up there with the W. And in the end, we see Ben able to just walk away. But walk away with his tail between his legs, as it was in game number 1, is in game number 2 here as well. He's losing heavily in farm.
And he's still... Luckily for him, he's still Renekton, though. I mean, that's one good sign for him, because he'll naturally be tanky with that Dominus. But he's definitely hurting quite a bit right now. Middle, though, I think we see a fight breaking out.
Yeah, there is the unstoppable force, but you see it doesn't really do a lot. The box goes down there, but the damage coming in already, and a lot of it is a super mega death rocket goes through. God JJ picks up another one and brings himself to 3-1-1, and that's a worry. When the unstoppable force from Malphite, who you're relying on to do a massive burst damage, is not doing really anything, there's not a lot really to go on.
And the thing is, like, you need Renekton in these fights. SGS has to have him come down, but he can't afford to, because he has to stop Zonda from split pushing this top side. And even then, he's losing out on a lot of these fights, and his turret's already very low.
And Zonda here trying to juke around him a little bit, and Ben, I think, just deciding, you know what, I'm not going to get anything out of that one. I'm just going to back away. Mistake, again, completely deep in the enemy jungle. I think that was a wise move not to stay for that 3rd hit, because he might have been picked off, especially since Dragon was being done. Winds went very low, but he's able to safeguard off to a ward behind, with him now having that Sightstone, and they're all going to go to shop. There's 2,400 gold for Gragas, 1,000 for Lee Sin, 1,200 for Jinx. They're rich right now.
Nex isn't happy with that. He had 5,000 in that last game to back with. I think he's going to keep farming up, but it kind of shows that with all this money they've been able to accumulate, they're not afraid to fight. They're not afraid to keep pushing their advantage, because they realize even without those items, they're still stronger. And when they do finally go back to, to buy up, they can just force a fight or allow Zone to keep split pushing. TPS, they're not playing really flashy. They're not making a lot of, crazy fights happen, but they're playing this game so smart.
Zonda continues to build up. Now got himself the workings of that Spirit Visage. And I tell you what, the Thresh needs to be very careful. Kaelin here with that Oracle Elixir running on him, clearing out wards on the backside of the Baron Pit, but see that the snipers are all on this top side. This time they're going to set up a trap and try and kill this Renekton.
And with the help of Winds and Mistake, that they possibly could go for it. They lost their ward coverage pretty much around the entire map, because they put them down around the same exact time, so they're a little bit more cautious to go for an invade of some sorts, but the Oracle that Mistake has, they can clear up that Baron vision and kind of start to bait that in.
Yeah, this game it has all the same shapes and trends of game number 1, really. I mean, close in kills, but if we look at the